We don't have our secretary here tonight. There's a new birth in the community. So I guess we won't have a reading of the last month's
I could
minutes.
not find the
We won't have a
Reading previous week's minutes.
previous week's minutes. We will also not have recorded, but we do have the video documentation of what. So first on the agenda was Vivian Welton, lot line adjustment. We got a
Want to
map.
come forward?
We got a little map on. We covered this last week.
Yeah. we Look that over and,
Anybody need a copy of the map? You don't have one, right?
I'm pretty well up on what you're doing, though.
Yeah, okay, because you looked at it already.
Yeah.
Remember from last week?
I
Okay,
remember, yeah, I remember.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, so the question is, this is currently two separate lots. And so you're asking for the lots to be combined, correct?
Yes.
So we think that's a planning board issue. Well, why are you here?
The planning board told me to come to the zoning board.
I think this person is being bunted from pillar to post.
Well put.
As I see it, Ms. Welton, if I may address you as such, owns the two lots.
Correct.
Has owned them for some time previous.
Yes, that were bought together.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, they're not considered as a contiguous parcel.
Because of her previous zoning, or
Yeah.
previous law.
Well, but the situation is that there is a existing structure in the form of the studio, which on the existing side is about, 15 feet from the lot line, give or take.
And you currently own both lots, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
And the studio is an existing structure to which I think you're adding a little something to it on the,
well, I guess it originally went over the line a little bit, so.
over the.
Over
lot-
the middle lot line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you wound up buying both parcels, the middle lot line became kind of a theoretical thing.
Right, right,
It did, you know, it was of no concern because you own both parcels.
right.
Okay.
So I don't see any reason that those two parcels can't be combined for contiguous ownership for the applicant. My question is, can we legally do this? I would be willing to entertain a motion to do it and let the legal chips fall where they may.
Well, I'll make that motion.
Make it.
Okay, I move that Ms. Welton's parcel be considered as one parcel and she be allowed to continue with the studio usage. I know you want to put an apartment in it. I think that's the other piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, originally, I thought my daughter was going to need to move back home, and that
Okay.
was the reason.
so for now, it's an accessory structure. And the motion then would be to allow Ms. Welton to have one contiguous parcel.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion
Aye.
as put?
Aye.
All opposed? So, motion so moved as put.
Thank you,
Ms. Welton,
Thank you.
good luck.
thank you.
Was that going to be an Airbnb or was that for your daughter?
Well, my daughter actually met a nice young man where she was in Seattle,
Uh-oh.
so she's staying there. I have been renting it as an Airbnb, so I would like to be able to legally do that as an accessory dwelling, which would require
Okay.
special use because,
Yeah. I want to make a point. The reason this is so clouded up and foggy is because she has two dwellings on one lot then,
Okay,
and that's a violation of our zoning code.
okay.
You're
well,
allowed to have one dwelling and one guest house without a kitchen. The accessory structure she put up has a full kitchen, full bathroom.
Okay, I didn't know that part of it.
So I think the agreement that she came to with the planning board was to eliminate the stove in the kitchen,
Okay, makes sense,
which would then make it not a kitchen.
right.
So I don't know how this got bounced back and forth, but that was the original problem that came up. She had two dwellings on one lot, they share a septic system, they share a well, and the addition that she put on the accessory structure
Yeah,
is actually on the adjoining lot.
right.
Now, It's my belief that in this town, if you own two non-conforming lots side by side, that they have to be combined.
Okay, that part resolves.
Mhm.
But the issue then becomes accessory structure versus a dwelling.
Yes.
So was there in fact an extant agreement that you would remove the stove?
That's what we had talked about. I had agreed to that. But since you brought up the idea of getting a special use permit, I figured I would run it by the zoning board if there was any change of opinion on the zoning board, just,
This
but how we
isn't-
did explain
yeah.
what we had discussed.
This isn't really a use permit.
Oh, okay, I'm just going on what you guys had said earlier today.
This isn't a use variance.
Pardon?
This isn't a use variance.
No, no, it's
It's an
just-
area variance.
Area.
Yeah, that's it.
Area variance?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all we can do.
So you can still prepare food by installing a microwave oven.
Well, you're not supposed to say that.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
In
Okay.
other words, to qualify as an accessory structure, it's not a dwelling.
So should we modify the motion to say that the motion is approved if upon removal of the stove?
Well, I don't think I'd be that specific. I would just simply say for use as an accessory structure. Not
A guest house would be the proper term. Accessory structure is not necessarily meant for human habitation.
Okay, so guest house.
Guest house.
Okay, thank you, Howie.
Does that require a separate application?
I think it would require a separate application to, if she wants to use it as a dwelling, she would have to come to you and get a variance to do that.
Okay, I don't think I would jump to granting that variance, but yeah, I think you need to go through another application if we're gonna be doing that.
Right.
You
Okay.
understand this, these all have legal ramifications, so we wanna do it right.
So I could apply for a use variance to use the guest house as a,
Dwelling.
as a dwelling?
Yeah,
Okay.
We just granted you a area variance by combining those two lots.
Right.
That's all
Okay,
we can
that's
do
the
here
area
tonight.
variance. Mhm. Okay, so I'll make a formal application. Howie, I mean, does that sound reasonable?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the same process you're gonna go through
Okay.
again,
Okay.
So
Yes,
the
control
motion
that.
then would stand that we are granting you, or we are making the two lots into one contiguous lot with the proviso that the accessory building on it be used as a guest house. Okay? That's the motion.
Can you repeat that?
Okay, what we're doing, Mr. Williams, is allowing or merging the two lots into one contiguous parcel, and the accessory structure or outbuilding on the property is now designated as a guest house for its usage.
Are you comfortable doing that without a separate application for that specific
Yes.
position?
Can I make another suggestion?
Yeah.
Why don't you, the ZBA, make a recommendation to the planning board
Yeah,
that the lot line adjustment be allowed, the elimination, make that.
okay.
And then that kind of clears up the legal issue. of
Good
whether-
point.
Yeah.
Good point.
And then Vivian can make an application for a change of use to the ZBA
Yeah,
to convert the dwelling into a dwelling.
Okay.
okay. So then,
Okay, so I present a motion that we recommend to the planning board that the two lots are joined into one contiguous lot. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion so moved as presented.
Thank you.
Okay.
So you understand? you're
Yes, I do.
contiguous lot, but you're gonna need another,
Okay, so I'll just print out the application online and
Whatever needs to be
get
done
it
through
to,
the,
I guess I'll email this to Carrie.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
in the building office.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, and Howie, thank you.
I have one other question. Is your Airbnb, is it fully booked?
Is it fully booked?
Yeah.
I have several days in between bookings, because
Okay.
I want to make sure it's, clean and sanitary before
Okay.
somebody comes.
But it remains a busy
I,
business model?
well, I'm booking on weekends, basically,
Okay.
yeah. so.
I'm just wondering about the Airbnb business model in general, like how it's faring in this community.
Oh, I think that there is demand, definitely,
Definitely demand.
yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're holding the days open deliberately.
Understood.
Because if we left them open, we would probably get bookings midweek occasionally.
Mhm.
I know some of the other Airbnb owners are saying only week-long bookings would be accepted. They don't want like shorter because they, because of the COVID issue. And that they've been getting enough bookings for the week-long or more, as far as I know.
Yeah, as far as I know too. So are you in fact a functioning member of the planning board now?
Yes,
So you apparently would have to recuse yourself of any further decisions from the planning board.
you mean
Relevant
as far as my own
Relevant
case?
to this matter.
Relevant to this matter?
Yeah, for my own case.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely,
All right.
definitely.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Michael Boucher is asking, is he here? Yes, he is.
Michael Boucher.
I'm here for a variance to get a 6-foot fence instead of a 4-foot fence on my property.
You are on the corner property in essence?
Yeah, I have some, can I give you a picture of the fence I'm proposing to build and a picture of my lot?
Absolutely.
Sorry, I didn't have this earlier.
Thank you. Okay, we've got the bench.
Now we're all on the same page here.
So Mr. Boucher, I did a drive-by earlier today from both sides trying to determine if this was a traffic obstruction. I don't think it is, but you're well armored with pretty copious vegetation in front of your house. Why are you cutting down the trees? What's your motivation for?
What's that, along the road?
Yeah, wasn't there a pretty dense copse of trees separating your house from the road? Are you cutting those down?
Those came down, they were in really rough shape and we wanted sun for gardeners, so we grow a lot of flowers up there. And in the front along the house, not where we're talking about, but the north side of the house, that was a big forsythia bush and it's not my favorite plant in the world. I was happy to get rid of it. We only have a 1/4 acre, so we want to make the most of all the property we have. And those spruces weren't doing anything for us for protection from pests or nuisance, for privacy and everything like that.
But are you cutting down all these trees along here to build a fence?
No, those came down because they were in poor shape and we didn't want them there anymore.
But there are trees there currently. Am I
No.
looking at the wrong lot?
You might be looking at the wrong lot, because we definitely don't currently have copious trees. There's
Okay.
just one existing tree right here in the very corner, if you're looking on the map there, at the height of the curve, there's a big maple and ash tied together right there.
Yeah.
Besides that, there's no cover on
Yeah.
our whole roadside line.
Okay, I was looking at
But
this
you
problem.
see, this
What's
area
that?
view is showing the trees that were there, I presume.
Yeah, those trees were
Those
there.
trees were there on that curve. And what
Yeah.
this isn't really showing is Ridge Road that comes out,
Right.
that intersects Baker Road, Ridge Road, and Grandview all meet there.
Right,
Yeah,
Yeah, Rich is right here. You can barely see it.
right.
yeah.
And,
So where we're proposing to build is the southwest corner here, where I put these little green marks and the blue mark. There's a short-term rental and Airbnb right across the street from us, and it's constantly booked. And the nature of our property is that we're down sort of in a fishbowl. So where they are, I have pictures I can show too, the headlights coming in and out, like straight on my, dinner table, my bathroom, my daughter's bedroom, and my living room. All our windows are south-facing. So that's our main, all of our property is that whole south area there. So we're just concerned with privacy, and also people's dogs have come barreling into our property I've got a 6-year-old, I'm not trying to deal with that. So we're proposing, this 100-foot stretch in the southeast corner. And I want a 6-foot fence because our property is downhill in the slope, and 4 feet doesn't gain us so much as if we could just go 2 feet taller. And if you look on the design of the map, the way we propose to do that is to just raise the 4-foot fence 2 feet up. So there's still, airflow and all that sort of thing, but we get our sort of screening between the, 2 feet up to 6 feet up.
Got it. So the blue line or where these green things are, that's where the fence would be?
Yeah, in this satellite map, this line here is not our true property. We have had it surveyed, and the fence we're proposing is within our surveyed lines.
Oh, okay.
First I did it on the actual, within these lines, but then I looked on the topographical thing, and it's just not true to where it is. It's a little off.
Well,
Yeah, that
the
happens.
line that you show that is blue and red, kind of like a dashed line, is that a lot line, a property line that you're showing?
That's the property line,
Okay,
but it's
now-
a little off on this
Yeah.
satellite image, is what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say.
because you come out into, it looks like into the center line of the road or something.
Yeah, that's how I know that it's off, because everybody,
Yeah,
these
right.
lines are off on everybody's lots on this map here.
I'll point out that on the parcel view of the boundary lines, they're not correct. They're off by a half an inch or more.
Yeah,
And I guess it's because you're trying to take a three-dimensional globe and put it on a two-dimensional piece of paper.
Okay.
exactly.
Now, the 3 boat-shaped green boxes with the white dots and the blue line, is that your proposed fence?
Yes.
Okay.
So on my drive-by, I didn't really perceive a traffic visual obstruction. Do you, Howard?
Well, because Ridge Road is coming in at the apex of the curve, the sight line isn't really obstructed there. If Ridge Road was on the same side of the road, then I would see it as an obstruction. But our ordinance says that on corner lots, all of the road-facing lots are front yard.
Right.
So if it's considered to be an obstruction by the board, then the maximum height is 3 feet for shrubs or fences or stone walls. And that's in 116-15 corner lots, 116-15B,
Right.
Now, if it's viewed as an obstruction?
yes.
Okay. So that's the first decision then, isn't it? Do we consider it an obstruction?
I didn't think so. I did a drive-by.
I drove by shortly after the first one, and yeah,
Okay.
I would agree.
Well, on Ridge Road, there's, let's see, how many houses on Ridge Road? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 houses on Ridge Road. So Ridge Road, there's quite a bit of activity that comes out to Baker and Grandview, right where they meet.
Yeah, there's a ton of short-term rental traffic for sure. We're like kind of the Grand Central Station right there. And I have been taking that into consideration for sure, if you're talking about the fence being an obstruction, is that, we don't want it to obstruct anything, for the road. That was our biggest concern, and that's why we positioned it kind of in the most crucial space just outside our south-facing wall where all of our windows are looking. So we're not trying to do, go any further than that. And all that's really happening here on the apex of the curve here is there's a full-grown, there's wood, a maple tree, a couple ash trees, and some honeysuckles kind of all growing in there, and that's sort of like the break between the sight lines and the curve. But even that, I don't see it as an obstruction, the fence.
Okay. So, just for our elucidation, the reg reads, obstructions at street intersections, at all street intersections, no obstructions to vision such as a fence, wall, hedge, structure, or planting over 3 feet in height shall be erected or installed and maintained on any lot within a triangle formed by the intersecting street lines or their projections where corners are rounded in a straight line joining said street lines at points which are 40 feet distance from their point of intersection measured along said street lines and/or projections? Well, I didn't quite follow that.
I did take away from it the within 40 feet of the intersection though, and they're definitely well
Yeah.
beyond 40 feet
Yeah.
away.
Okay.
So
I
that,
don't.
it was hard to follow though, I would say.
On these maps, I don't see any footage as far as
This,
how far off the road the fence is gonna be, how long the actual fence is.
Yeah.
This is just an aerial view, and this is a picture of
Yeah.
a ornamental fence.
so this line here, I just brought that, here it's 80 feet is that blue line that I have drawn on there. So you've got that. And then I was hoping to come just inside of where the spruce trees were planted, so we're not digging up where those stumps, because I don't want to deal with those. And at that point, we're 20 feet from the center of the road, is where I would ideally like to be able to build it. And that's coming on the, before we even get close to the curb. So that's why I was thinking to build a shorter fence, build it 80 feet instead of what I got permitted 100 feet for. So that way we're further from the curb, so we can still maintain, because that's a good portion of our property there, so.
What is the distance from the road you're looking at?
20 feet from the center of the road. And I looked at the other
How wide the road?
fences in the area as recommended, and none of them I saw were even that far away. So
Yeah.
I would just want to make sure it doesn't offend the
So
highway supervisor or
it looks like the
snowplow.
road's about 20 feet wide, so 20 feet from the center would be roughly 10 feet from the edge of the road?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So Reg 116-26 reads, in any residential district, R5, R3, R1.5, and HR districts, fences and walls shall not exceed 6 feet in height when erected in a required side or rear yard, nor exceed 4 feet in height when erected within 25 feet of the front lot line, which this is, or highway right-of-way, except agricultural fencing, which may be 5 feet in height. You don't have any cattle or anything, do you?
We got some chickens and I got a bunny.
No.
That bunny would
Sorry, I
be an
asked.
agricultural operation if need be.
You may not be allowed to have chickens.
Oh, never mind.
So
Huh?
what is the zoning as far as the fence from the center of the road?
25 feet is the town right-of-way, right-of-way of use.
Yeah. So that means you can't build a fence within 25 feet of the center of the road. Is that what that says?
Well, technically, yes, I think that's what that means.
25 feet of front
But-
lot line or highway right-of-way.
Is it a highway? Is Grandview Acres a highway? Does that matter?
Not to me, it doesn't.
Because when I talked to Eric Hoffmeister, he said it depends how the land is deeded. And it seems he was more concerned with the highway than Grandview Acres Road. So when I told him residential, that was kind of as far as our conversation went.
So he's basically approving your plan, Eric?
I don't know if I could say that, but
But you told him about it?
yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
You actually discussed this with Eric?
Yeah, I called him and we exchanged messages is what we did. I had a really hard time getting him on the phone.
I don't see any reason not to.
He did mention the 25 thing, and he said that depends on how the land is deeded. I don't exactly know what that means, but he seemed to
Setback
be,
behind it.
yeah, more concerned with the highway.
Some of the roads in the town are
Yeah,
deeded
lots of
roads.
privacy.
Yeah, I
Some of them,
can
the
understand.
property line goes, the property line goes to the center of the road, on or about the center road. And some of the, like in a subdivision, that would be a deeded road where the property line is exactly where the boundary line of the property owner and the highway meet. So it's confusing, believe me, it took me a while to kind of figure all this out, but by law, the highway department has to plow the shoulder of the road. I think it's 6 or 8 feet. But it seems to me the location of this fence is so far downhill
Right.
from the actual level of the road, right? You know, I don't even know if a 6-foot fence is gonna give them any privacy.
That's like, yeah, so I'm hoping to get as close as I can without.
You're looking to like block the headlights and.
And people traffic and everything.
Visual privacy.
I don't know if it's extraneous, but I have photos out my windows, if where I put the 6-foot line, And it would just, you know, it would block everybody walking by here instead of here. And cars and garbage trucks and everything like that. But as of right now, everybody just walks by and just looks at my whole life. And it's annoying, to be honest. I mean, just being inside, because we got the lights on at night and it's dark outside. So everywhere, my bathroom, my daughter's bedroom, my dining room table, and my living room is just like a shadow box.
Well, I certainly understand the
Just for
privacy.
edification, I drove up and down Woodland Valley Road, and all these side roads, Circle Drive, Grandview, on any of those roads, there's no 6-foot fences in front yards, and the only fences that I know are around pool areas, which have to be fenced. And some of those, there's a couple of them, and they're pre-existing, non-conforming properties that the pools and things were put in prior to 1978.
Oh, okay. We can't prevent this individual from building a fence, per se.
No.
We can just control the height. I'm prone to allowing the variance.
Excuse me?
I'm prone to allowing the variance. How do you guys feel?
I'm not too happy with it, but,
I don't see it as a
I mean,
traffic
you know, the
obstruction.
nature of the character of the neighborhood and the community, there are no fences in our whole community. Ridge Road, Woodland Valley Road, Circle Drive, I mean, Thorn Hill. I don't see any fences anywhere. Most of it is, all of it is actually vegetation and trees.
I saw plenty of fences on Muddy Brook and Circle Drive yesterday. I drove to look, and I actually think they were at least 5 feet, right up on the road. I
Some
should have
of
took
them-
pictures of it, but they were horizontally slatted boards, at least 5 feet, because it's similar where the road goes here and it drops down. And they were not 3 feet,
Yeah.
they were not 4 feet. You couldn't see someone standing behind it, surely. I don't know which is their front line, but along the road, it was this far from the road, it was this tall. And there's a pool fence on Grandview Acres, right across there. That's probably only, that might be 10 feet from the road, but that's pretty tall.
Well, the pool isn't even 25 feet from the center of the road. That's why the fence is there.
Well, Hank, a question. Do you see the position and design of this fence as a detriment to the community? Is it visual
guess
detriment?
me personally, I mean, I think he actually, with what he's done to the property, he requires to put a fence up now for his own privacy. But prior to that, there were trees and shrubs and bushes, and also ornamental bushes on the side of the house, which were removed. So I'm
That's my
not saying that he
property. Can I do what I
created
want with my property?
No.
his own type of issue, but he does require a fence.
Yeah,
I think
but
the
Hank,
issue is
those
just how far
bushes and
down the
shrubs
hill.
would have violated our town code as well, because even the shrubs can't be higher than 3 feet.
No, I know that.
But there was a fence, you remember where Adrian Dunlap's old house was?
Julie?
Adrian Dunlap. I'm blocked out the name of the road. It's not Herdman Road. It's next to Muddy Brook Road. Okay, well, Adrian had a fence that was right on top of the road. And about a year ago, someone
Okay.
bought the house and tried to replace the fence right on the same place. And the highway department stopped him. And he hired a surveyor, and he determined his boundary line. And he was allowed to move the fence to the boundary line of the property. I don't think it's 25 feet from the center of the road, but Eric was in agreement with that. So I'm just bringing that up as there is a situation where there is a 6-foot fence adjoining on the front yard of the property in Woodland Valley.
We have to
Was that fence
decide.
pre-existing? non-conforming,
It was pre-existing,
prior to
but-
it being replaced?
According to Eric, once he knocked it down, he had to conform to the new
Yeah.
regulations. And so they made him move it about 8 feet closer to the house.
Well, we're deciding these cases on an individual basis, although we can look at precedent. Does this person's privacy issues have any resonance with you?
I think that he has issues that are created by Airbnb and short-term rentals. I do believe that. I think the whole neighborhood is plagued with that, you know, at this
Yeah.
particular point. And I do think that he deserves some sort of relief for privacy. I think my concern is whether it's 25 feet from the center of the road or 20 feet. I think that 25 feet, I can agree with 25 feet. I've looked at the property, I measured, I saw where the, you know, where the fence would be. I've asked Mike to put some stakes up so I can see how tall a fence would be. And he can hold them and he can go out and walk on the road to see if it would give him the privacy, you know, at a certain point going down the hill. And to date, we didn't really do that, but I personally did it, and I think that 25 feet would give him the privacy that he needs. And I know that he's trying to utilize as much of the property as he possibly can. It's a small lot, quarter of an acre.
So, I know 25 feet would be closer to the house, but wouldn't that be higher up on the elevation to give you more?
The problem is,
Well, it goes
the further
down.
from the road,
It'd have to be
so my
taller.
house is here, the slope goes up,
Yeah.
and then the road is there. So the further I come from the road,
The
the
less
taller my
effect-
fence has to be to do anything.
Okay.
So if I have to be
Okay.
any further away, I can't build a fence because it's gonna be a waste of my money. If I can build it within a reasonable place that doesn't obstruct anything and doesn't offend the community,
Okay.
then everybody can win. And the spruce trees that were there were so tall, they were in very bad condition, and they blocked a lot of the sightline that was unsafe there. So my decisions with what I've done with my property is really for the community at large. It was
Yeah.
invasive species occupying there, including the Norway spruces that don't thrive
Yeah.
there. And I filled the place with native flowering plants that get compliments every single day.
Okay,
So
no, I appreciate that.
I'm definitely considering all these things in mind.
The,
with my
the
fence
issue
design.
Hank is observing is the self-inflicted hardship, which applies to a use variance, but not an area variance. So, and a use variance is very difficult for us to grant because it alters the character of the actual community, the actual neighborhood. I don't see this altering the character of the community, of the neighborhood, do you?
Well, I would kind of expand on what Mr. Williams had to say. The Airbnb was something that didn't exist until recently. And that has also altered the character of the neighborhood.
Very much so.
Yeah, if I had neighbors I knew across the street, it'd be different and we could talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, but it being short-term rentals, there's people every day that have, and they have company, and I don't know why everybody wants to play with a drone, but they fly drones all over the place every day, and it's somebody new every day, so there's no conversation. They've got dogs busting into my property, kids coming into my property, and those are my concerns.
Did you say drums or drones?
Drones, they
Drones.
fly like,
Well, I don't think the fence is gonna help with the drones.
I know, I'm just saying,
That's all
it's just
right.
on top of the nuisances, it's one of them.
I couldn't find anything about
The
drones in
six
that.
ought to take care of the drones.
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion?
Determine, is it, does the 25-foot rule, is that only for highways, or does it apply to this road? I
It's
thought it was-
confusing because
Yeah.
we don't know if it's a deeded road
Okay,
or a non-deeded road. But I was going to suggest that maybe we ask Eric Hoffmeister if he's okay with 20 feet from the center of the road. And if he says yes, because I know the road, the fence that we moved, I apologize, I can't remember the name. It's right next to, it forks off from Muddy Brook Road.
Woodland Clove?
Woodland Close, that's it, yeah. And that fence is not 25 feet from the center of the road.
Are you prepared to start building right away?
I've been waiting. Okay. Yeah, I do this for a living, I build fences.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, you could make that a condition of your
Condition,
resolution,
okay.
that if the highway department agrees.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we do that instead of making them wait another month? I mean,
That sounds great.
Can you present a motion for us?
I would move to approve that Mr. Boucher,
Yeah.
Boucher builds his fence as submitted pending approval from Eric,
The highway superintendent.
from the highway
for the
supervisor
record.
at the 20-foot distance, as opposed to 25.
Those 25. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All?
Well, so if Eric says he can build a fence 20 feet from the center of the road, that's
You
okay.
can build it 6 feet.
And if Eric says no, then he's got to go 25 feet. I want to be clear as to exactly what he's got to do, and I think in all fairness to Michael, he should be clear on what we're doing.
what does that look like? Do I put an application? Do I talk to him?
I'll talk to him.
Because if I gotta talk to him, I'd rather ask if we could build it 18 feet from the road.
Well,
Is that pushing the issue?
Yeah, I think,
You better stick with what we
Okay.
resolved.
Yeah, you need to come
That's
back,
fine.
stick with
That's
20
fine.
feet.
How you can confirm that with Eric?
yeah, I'll
Okay.
speak with Eric tomorrow, and
Okay, so all in favor of the motion as presented?
Aye.
All opposed? So motion so passed as presented with that proviso, the approval from the highway supervisor. Okay,
Thank you.
good luck with it. Thank you.
So what do I do from here?
I'll call Eric tomorrow, and
Okay.
so, I have a short day tomorrow because I have an appointment at 12 o'clock, but, let's put it this way, by Friday, I'll have an answer for you.
Okay, great, so I'll reach out.
All right.
What was the material you're building a fence on?
Cedar.
Oh,
Cedar,
okay.
yeah, as long as I can find it. There's like a cedar shortage
Yeah.
right now.
Should we try?
I mean, he does really, really wonderful work. I mean, as a landscaper and building fences, I've seen some of the work he's done. So
So
I'm sure
maybe-
that the fence he's gonna put up is gonna look beautiful.
So maybe it would actually be a credit to the area.
I hope so.
I do too. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Scott Bawaz? What is the application?
Change of use for the
Oh, for
restaurant.
a restaurant.
They're changing the use
Oh, right.
or accommodations to food, not a restaurant, but to produce food.
Take out
that
food
will
if our-
leave the property.
Yeah. I don't have paperwork on that, but I know I'm familiar from last.
I have the original, take a look for Jeff.
I have a zoning application, but we don't have,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
not
see
what
the
I need. This
application.
is his application.
Oh, his application, no, I'm sorry, this is
Yeah.
just some notes. Right.
The, so I understand you sold the building.
No,
You didn't,
I've been trying to sell it for a couple of years, and I think I might have it sold now, but it's not sold. There's no closing date. So, I mean, I had offers before that didn't work out, so.
okay.
So I'm trying to make plans just in case I don't sell it, because time's getting short before the winter.
Okay. The issue for me is that if we grant this use variance, so use variances, as I mentioned earlier, are difficult to grant because it affects the character of the neighborhood. You're already in somewhat of a commercial zone, you have the ski shop next door, is that
Yeah.
correct? And then also, this notion of food takeout thing is becoming much more relevant in the community because the restaurants are closed, and that's becoming one of the main ways we're getting food delivery these days. So I was comfortable with that, but the use variance is transferable to the new owner. And I'm not comfortable with granting a use variance for your plans that would then be transferred to a new owner.
That's fine, they just want to buy it as a residence, so that's fine. I have no problem with that.
But you can't make a use variance that's not transferable, can we?
Can we legally do that? I don't think we can.
No, I think,
We did talk about it in the STR.
yeah, I think it's limited by, within 1 year, you have to obtain a building permit. So if you don't obtain a building permit to change the use, then it's nullified. But I
Okay.
believe that's the only code that would prevent somebody else from doing some other, takeout restaurant there in the future.
I don't object to the use of the takeout restaurant for the reasons I just suggested,
Right.
but if it's going to be grandfathered to a new owner who may not be as responsible as you, I prefer to hear from a new owner. And I would be happy to entertain the same application from a new owner, give them the same consideration we give
Right,
you.
but I don't think you're gonna hear from, if there is a new owner, if there is, I don't think you'll hear from them because they don't wanna do anything like that.
Then why do we need variance?
That's in case the deal falls through and this is the last attempt I'm gonna make to sell it. And if I don't, I wanna do food. I don't wanna do accommodations because of the COVID.
So the variance isn't, like, the sale isn't conditional upon you getting this variance.
No, no,
Variance
that's
is Plan B, sale
Right,
is Plan
exactly. It's like a fail-safe because I have to do something. You know, I mean,
A. Understood.
yeah, the COVID really hit me pretty good. I have a very unusual situation because all of my business, spring, summer, and fall, was wedding. And all these outdoor weddings, and those all evaporated overnight.
As a caterer, you mean?
No, just providing accommodations.
Oh, okay.
It's a B&B now.
Like, your daughter's getting married, you put down a down payment for 2021, because she's getting married next June.
Correct.
So you've got the house reserved just for your guests. And so and because it's so far in advance for these weddings, my business
I hear you.
evaporated, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, and plus, I don't know how comfortable I would be anyway, having people come in the house anymore.
Right.
So I was gonna pivot towards, I'm a chef by trade,
Okay.
so I was gonna pivot. And I started this process before this person came along.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, I remember, we had you in front of us last month.
Yeah.
I don't object to the business model, but I'd like to be dealing with the new owner, if there's gonna be a new owner.
Mhm.
Is it possible for you to grant this, and then if the new owner wants to do something, then you can deal with the new owner?
But no, by law, our decision today would be grandfathered in
Okay.
to your property.
Okay.
How do you guys feel?
Feel the same way. I mean, I think that Scott is another product of Airbnbs too. He's
Yeah.
walked through that, and it's affected his business, and then COVID-19 just shot it out of the water.
Yeah.
I think he deserves a shot at trying to recover what he started. And if it goes to the area variance, goes to the new owner, then so be it. I mean, but the new owner's gonna have the same problem that Scott does if he keeps the same business plan.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't really have a problem with.
Granting that variance now,
Granting
today?
it. I mean, I don't personally.
I mean, it is, I understand your point as well about we have a member, well, I don't know you because I'm relatively new. You have a member of the community that has a reputation and a standing, talking about, and you trust him to run a responsible, respectable business in that location. You question where it may go next, which I think is very reasonable. I just checked on Google Maps because again, I don't know the business well. It looks to me like it's in a relatively commercial area.
Yeah, it's zoned highway business.
Yeah, so.
And Jimmy's ski shop right next to me, we're both
Right.
zoned highway business.
And you've got
then the
the
resort is
post
behind
office,
us.
the
and
resort
side.
on the right, yeah.
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 So, I gotta agree with Hank. I think, I mean, I certainly hope if selling is what you want, that you do close on this. But if not, I don't think we can tell him he has to wait much longer. That's a hardship that he's already enduring.
Yeah, and also just to add to that, because this board didn't have enough people, I had to wait just to come last month. I had to wait a couple of months
Yeah.
before the board even was able to get together. And, because if the deal falls through, I've got a very short window
Right.
to build.
And to have to go through this again and then start,
Yeah.
you'll be starting a takeout service
Yeah.
in February.
Yeah, and I got pretty crippled over the summer, as you might imagine.
Okay.
Well, we could say something to the effect of, in 11669, G, expiration of approval unless construction or use is commenced within 1 calendar year from the date of the granting of the variance, such variance shall become null and void.
Oh,
That's 11669G.
Okay.
okay. So we could put a year restriction on if nothing happens.
I think that's almost automatic because of what Howie quoted.
Hey, folks, if let's just say I did decide to reopen with accommodations, if I have this change of use, does that preclude me from doing that?
I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think
I just
so.
want to know if I would paint myself in a corner here.
I don't think so. Okay, so are we willing to grant the use variance at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, may I have a motion to that effect?
I make a motion that we grant the Bel Air B&B an area variance to,
A
Use
use variance.
a use variance to provide him with his new business plan of preparing food and either having it delivered or people coming there to pick it up.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. Is that the correct name of the business?
It was the Alpinos,
Oh, okay, yeah.
but I would put a new sign up there.
Okay, all right, but second, yes.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion so moved as presented. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks a lot.
What's going to be on your menu?
What's that?
What's going to be on your menu?
Pizza's what I'm gonna start with, believe it or not.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of pizza joints around here, but everybody knows pizza.
You better be good.
And yeah, of course. And then I'll build off of that. I mean, there's a lot of food products I have, but everybody's familiar with pizza.
Are you still thinking of delivery as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, because nobody delivers.
Let
Yeah,
us know when you
Yeah.
figure out your delivery rate.
yeah, no, absolutely. I'll have two little cards.
Phoenicia, think Phoenicia.
I won't really,
Chichester.
listen, yeah, but I won't really have that much of a rate, that small of a radius. I'll definitely would be going to Phoenicia,
Okay.
Margaret, all that, yeah.
Wow, okay.
How about a drone delivery?
The drone.
Yeah, you know what? That's, yeah. No, that's
Oh,
gonna happen.
please.
If it doesn't happen tomorrow, it's gonna happen
It
next
will
year.
someday.
That'll happen, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so we're all set?
Yes, we are.
Okay, and I'm gonna
Okay,
get
motion
something in the
good.
mail, I guess, to commemorate the.
Yeah, we'll do a resolution, and then the chair will sign it,
Okay.
and then we'll send it out to the clerk's office. And
Yeah. All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, good luck.
Okay. See you guys later.
Okay.
Don't forget the anchovies.
What's next on the agenda? I lost my agenda.
Okay, so this is John, and he's appearing in behalf of Glenn about the change of use, property on Firehouse Road that burnt down. It's in Highway Business District. And the Anacona, if I pronounce that correctly, they want to do a storage unit facility on the site. It's Highway Business right now. And so he's here for a determination as to whether or not that is doable under our zoning, our bulk regulations. I looked through it, I didn't find anything that was a similar use.
There's no mention of storage units in the code?
Unless I overlooked it, you know.
Storage units may post-date the writing of the code.
Yeah, like a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I would say we'd have to do a little bit of research on this before we could make it.
Where is
It's
it
almost
again, John?
fall under like
Firehouse
warehouse.
Road, you know what that is? Oliver Rea Road.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The opposite
Firehouse
side.
Road, got it, okay.
It is a commercial use, it is
Highway business.
Hamlet commercial, highway
Yeah.
commercial, or Hamlet commercial.
I think it was Highway Business, forgive me, I don't
It's
know.
HB, yeah, highway business.
Yeah.
Highway business. So it would theoretically be a legitimate use. My question would be community character, quite honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd want to do a drive-by and a site review and take.
But we have the, you know, the gas station on the corner.
I would say,
Yeah.
the case in point, that entire hamlet at 28, I would call into an eyesore.
Yeah.
And I expect you to do your due diligence and look at their existing site in Margaretville.
We'll have
And I
to
believe
do that.
Tammy's already been there.
Mhm.
It was years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very unassuming, very low-key, muted colors because they wanted to fit in with the community.
Where is it in Margaretville?
It's on Route 30, right by the Hana Resort.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, yeah. And where is the parcel you're speaking of?
It's on Firehouse Road. It used to be it was a boarding house, it was a hostel, it burned
Right,
maybe a year ago.
okay.
It would help to provide photographs of their existing business so we can see what.
Actually, if you could pull up kdrstorage.com.
I know, I live near there.
KDRstorage.com.
What existing businesses are near where this parcel is now?
Sorry, it's not,
China Chuck.
I'm sorry, it's KDR Containers. So
KDS,
it's directly behind Chuck Perez's,
Behind where?
Chuck Perez's garage.
Perez's.
Yep,
junkyard,
junkyard.
which is an issue we haven't addressed
The
either.
former, Big Indian General Store, which is a
Yeah,
auto
that's
shop.
Powers Market or whatever.
Right, Moore's Market.
Yeah, another problem site. All right, it was KDRstorage.com?
KDR Containers,
KDR Containers.
there you are. I assume that's
Yep, correct.
Mhm.
similar to that one on 28.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times that they grant area or special uses for that type of thing. They also require some sort of screening, whether it be trees, bushes, fencing.
The thing is, we're dealing with a use that isn't even in the books.
Yeah.
The nearest use might be warehousing, if such a use exists.
Well, how about the bulk storage for the propane right on 28? We dealt with that. They required certain screening with shrubbery,
Right.
trees.
Now, is that required for the variance, or is it actually required on the town books?
I think they required it on the variance.
I mean, on the 28 side, that already exists because of mature trees.
Well, when the bulk storage went in, that propane, there were no, they stripped it down, they required to plant those trees. The town required to do that.
Understood.
Howie, in your estimation, is there a big demand for this kind of storage space in our community?
It's by experience that many people in Shandaken never throw anything away.
What?
I can speak to when we moved up here, we did, because of planned renovations, put quite a bit of our possessions into storage temporarily, and it was hard finding enough storage space.
Yeah,
We ended up storing in Kingston.
Really?
the Anconas would not be pursuing this if there wasn't a demand. Their site is, overly fully booked, and they've been looking for a site. They've invested in the community over the years, and it's in high demand, especially now that, you're talking about Airbnb, it's another like a real estate market. I mean, the panic buys and people that are here may have bought someplace that's much smaller than what they need at the time, and what they need storage space.
Okay. How big is that lot?
It's 1.7 acres. It would be under 1 acre of impervious surface.
Uh-huh. How many storage units are they asking for?
4, so looking at 13,000 square feet under roof.
For 4 units? Wow, so it's gonna be really big buildings.
They're quite long.
When you say unit, you mean a building with many storage?
Correct,
Okay.
Okay.
correct.
The property borders on Route 28 as well, doesn't it?
It does, and actually there's a small little parcel on the other side of 28 that's part of that.
So would the access be from 28 or Firehouse
It would be
Road?
from Firehouse Road Solar.
So you're asking us today for a determination of what? To see if we think we could approve this in the future? What are you actually asking us for?
So that, what we're trying to determine is clarity of what exists in the town laws now
Okay,
to move forward, because it would have to be a change of use.
right.
But does it already exist on the town laws that this usage could be permitted?
Okay,
Whether
the
it's-
answer is no. There's no mention in the town laws of storage. So this is gonna require some research as far as.
Right, so therefore, it would either fall under, a retail use that's not cited.
Yeah, warehouse, I'm gonna have to do research on this,
Understood.
so. So I don't think we can give a definitive determination at this point.
No, and when I say that's not what we're looking for, we just kind of want to start the conversation,
Okay,
because they're under contract to purchase, and if they're going to make this investment, both the purchase and then a $500,000 investment in this project,
right,
and then clearly the tax base,
right.
for the community, so I think there's a lot of upside
Yeah,
for it, but they need to make sure that, kind of taking the temperature of this board on what is allowable.
Okay.
under town guidelines.
Well, I think you can take back that the temperature of this board is that we're not here to discourage business and discourage investment in the community. But we are charged with protecting the character of the community.
Of course.
So, no, I personally have to do more research before I can make a decision on just how we're gonna handle storage units. This has never come up before,
No, it hasn't.
so.
I
I
completely
think the
understand.
nearest storage units are down by Ashokan,
About 28, yeah.
where the pet food place burned
Yeah,
down.
exactly.
Yeah,
And then actually the nearest would be Ancona's in Margaretville, it's probably even closer than that one.
yeah. We run into a lot of this. These, like I said, these zoning laws were imagined in the 50s, enacted in 1971, 74, 1970s. You know, we have regs for like boarding houses
Of
and,
course.
you know, mule farms and stuff like that, so.
No, but you have zoning, I live in Roxbury, we have no zoning.
Is that true?
It's the Wild West,
There's no zoning laws in Roxbury?
correct.
I find that hard to believe.
I was on the planning board for 10 years, we just finally got site plan review.
Wow. I thought this community was backwards, apparently we're forwards.
Well, Roxbury was predominantly a rural place, think about it.
Yeah, but 68, pre-COVID, 68% of our town was owned by non-full-time residents. Right now, it's 80% is owned by non-full-time residents.
Wow. Well, how many of those non-full-time residents are now full-time?
Well, of course,
And most of them, in this community, the number is generally 50%.
yeah.
And what I'm seeing is all these second, third, fourth homes are now first homes.
Yeah.
It's occupied, so this is a completely changing
We
dynamic.
have 40 new kids in Roxbury Central.
Yeah.
That's a hit. But I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, so we'll do more research, and the process goes on, you know. We're not being called upon to make a
Of
definitive
course.
determination. but
And what do you recommend next steps?
An application for variance.
For a change of use variance?
Yeah.
A change of use variance.
But it's not for a variance pertaining to the code, because it's already been zoned as highway business. Am I correct in saying that? It would just have to be.
That is correct. We have other considerations, like community character. We're gonna have to entertain the input of your neighbors.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I would expect it.
So we have to have a public hearing,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Of course.
If
So-
you look at the highway business bulk regulations, there's a lot of X's there. There are things that are permitted, offices, boarding, breeding kennels, campgrounds by special use permit, limited neighborhood business uses. I don't know what that means, but,
Right, so there's kind of a, I mean, actually further on that same page, there's another one about retail businesses not cited here.
So obviously this would require an interpretation from us. So make your application and we'll make a determination on our interpretation.
Thank you, appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. I think that concludes our business for today.
Ask if anyone else has any other business.
Anybody want to come forward?
John Olson.
I'm sorry.
I applied for the variance with Mr. McGowan. I live on Phoenicia on 214.
Where on 214?
Pardon me? Creek. I've had that for about 35 years now.
On the creek side.
The reason was, I live on Staten Island, I've been down there for 40 years, and we've used this house for 38 years with the kids growing up here, and we just love it up here. So my point here is that we're selling a house on Staten Island, we live in Florida for the winter time, but we really want to keep spending our time up here. Okay, my house is only about 750 square feet. For skiing and using it for summertime with the family and the grandchildren, it's been fine. But we want to move up here for 6 months out of the year now, my wife and myself. And then we'd be having the grandchildren come up and so on and so forth. We have 3 bedrooms in there, and they're very small. So I wanted to get a variance to just move about 12 feet out to three bedrooms over to the property line. Because I can't go to the left because I have plenty of room, but the dining room there is a living room and so on and so forth. So I just need that extra room, otherwise, you know, it is a hardship, of course. I mean, it's just not big enough. It's
What
an
is
old house,
the
1920.
essence of this, that you would wind up encroaching on your setback to a lot line?
Yes, area variance, side yard area.
The addition will be in the back of the house?
On the
It'd be on the
side
side
of
of
the
the
house.
house.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be on the side. It's the only way to go. I can't go up, it'd be prohibitive, you know, and we're retired. It's just my wife and myself.
Okay.
But we like to entertain with the kids and have the grandchildren come up, for, you know, for whatever. And it's just that we're not gonna be able to do it. I mean, it's a hardship if we don't get it. So I don't know what we're gonna do if we don't get it, because it's just not gonna be, it's just not gonna be big enough for us.
And
It's
you're
very
the-
small. It's
And you're the
very
first
small.
house on the creek side?
First house, yeah, it's got a gray garage on it, you know, if you remember, and it goes down that hidden driveway down there.
That's
And right next to me, where it is, it was Tony Doolin's house going way back, you know, and that was burnt down. Well, it's not burnt down, but it's not being used for the last 15 years because they had a flood, and the kids have it, and, you know, so,
You're actually right across the street from me.
Oh,
No, I
At the
think,
greenhouse with the solar panels.
oh.
That's me.
Yes, oh, isn't that interesting?
I've seen you. I thought you looked
I know, I'm
hard to
looking at
tell,
it.
but I thought it was you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it that much, but you know, in the winter time, we used to
Yeah,
get there all the time, but yeah. And we've just been good to neighbors, we've been there for all these years, and and we just really need more room, otherwise we're not gonna be able to really make this our residence. And we just love the area, you know, it's
How
the
close
nation.
are you coming to the neighbor's boundary?
It, as close as I can, you know, I think I have about, maybe about, there's about 13 feet, I think, to the property line, you know, so like, you know, I was looking for, you know, as much as I can get. I'll redo my survey if we can do this, you know, but I just need that extra room, that extra 300 square feet would be instrumental in
No,
you know,
understood.
just making life more livable, you know, and it's not encroaching on anybody else. It's, there's, you know, we got the stream there, the front is,
Yeah.
well, we got, I don't know how many feet up to the road, I think it's 100 feet or something like that. The stream, I think you know what the house.
Yeah,
You're right.
But the guardrails come right before either side of your driveway.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
And you have to hump when you pull out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's a dangerous little spot.
Yeah.
I had the transportation department, they put up a sign, you know, a hidden driveway sign, that they just put that up because it's just, you know, it's a tough spot.
It is, it's hard enough getting out of our driveway. We're on the other side of the curb.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Was that you who put up the sign about the rattlesnakes on, Chichester Rocks?
Did I do it?
Yeah,
Rattlesnakes?
yeah. You know about that? There's
No,
there's
no.
two signs up on Route 214 in the quote Chichester Rocks saying beware of rattlesnakes.
Oh, really?
And,
Oh, I haven't
yeah,
seen that.
and they look like official DEC signs. And I asked the DEC forest ranger,
Maybe it's trying
and
to
they
chase
said, we didn't
people
put
away.
those signs up.
Interesting. I never saw it.
So apparently one of our neighbors is being proactive about the Chichester Rocks.
Yeah.
So I guess you need to make an application.
Yes.
With the,
yeah, mhm.
with the building department.
Okay.
And then,
And I think it would be good to get a survey done of that lot line separating you.
I have an old survey going back to 1984, so I could probably just have it.
That's the survey that was used when the parcel was conveyed to you?
Excuse
In other
me?
words, when you bought the property,
Right.
there had to be a survey.
Oh, yes, I had a survey done when I bought the house in 84.
Yeah, there's been nothing changed since.
Nothing's been changed, nothing at all. It's just standard house, the house.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, as long as nothing has changed, I would think that that survey should be good.
Yeah, if we can find the
Oh, it probably
markers.
is.
We can find the markers.
Well, that's what I've been looking for. I mean, you know, and they had an old, it was an old apple tree, it was one of them, you know,
Yeah.
on one side, and it had an iron post on one
Well,
side.
yeah,
I
the
was trying to
surveyors
find it.
will set a rebar or surveyors typically will set a rebar at a lot corner of all else fails. The tree, you might find 3 blazes cut with a hatchet in the tree if that's a corner.
Yeah.
That's how they would mark it.
Wow,
Yeah.
I mean, it's strange, I saw, you know, they had a little an iron marker on one, and, a baroque on one side of it coming down from the road,
There may be a
But-
chisel, cut on the rock. If the rock is kind of one of these immovable pieces of ledge rock,
Yeah, yeah.
that's as good as a survey monument, then the surveyors will put a chisel cut on the
Oh.
rock.
Yeah.
And if you look for it, you'll find it.
Oh, I've been looking, it's hard, it's been, since 84,
This stuff gets
It's been
overgrown.
35 years.
Stuff
so it's
grows,
just,
right?
it's, but I'll have it redone again, and then we.
Just that side
I had a
where-
guy that, who was it, Reynolds, I guess it was, you used to be.
Yeah, then I don't think
Yeah,
they're around
that
there.
was-
There's a local
it was on the
surveyor
road.
right here in town, too.
Don, yeah.
Yeah, Don Brewer.
Oh, yeah, right on Roma Street, I think?
He's in the 1890 house right on the main drag.
Oh, okay.
He did my property.
Over the
Yeah.
other person.
Came over the metal detector and found that
Yeah.
very broad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to get, exactly where it is myself. I measured it out myself, according to my survey, but it's, my.
Where it gets hairy is when you have property that turns weird angles.
Yeah, it is. It's at an angle because it's coming in like this, and there's a big culvert on one side, and it goes to where my next door neighbor down in the middle of the driveway and so on and so forth. But,
Well, we'd be happy to accommodate you if we can, but you'll need to make an application and go through the process and pay a fee.
that'd be great then. So what's my next step then, Mr. Gowan? I make the application?
Yes,
then?
yes, building permit and application for zoning permit.
All right, well, I don't know whether we're doing it right now yet, so, I'm not doing it within the next couple of months or anything like that, so.
Well, you don't have to build it, but as long as once you're gonna be too close to the neighbor's boundary, so that's the zoning, would push you to the ZBA. So that would be, if you can be the zoning board, then I would refer you to the ZBA, and you would fill out an application for a hearing with the
Yeah, what I
ZBA.
would say is if you mark up a plot plan with your existing house and what you intend to add to it, with the final distance to your lot line, that would be something to work off of.
That's the actual requirement. We would require that
Yeah.
information.
Oh,
So
yeah.
your first step is to determine what you want to build.
Yeah, I mean, we
I
really
just want
don't
to
care.
extend the three bedrooms out, it's about
Yeah, but
50 foot in
Mr.
length.
Olson, we really don't concern ourselves with what goes on inside the walls, just where the walls end.
Oh, yeah, right.
In other
So-
words,
Thank you
all
for
we're
that.
looking at is a plot plan.
You can just take I would assume that the
Excuse
1984, I would assume if you could take his, the 1984 survey, if it's still
If it's
accurate.
still valid, just mark
Exactly.
it up.
And then add to that drawing the size of the addition he wants.
Well, I did do that on that, I measured it out to about 12 feet to the property line, or where the
Yeah,
next people are.
yeah, but the question is, how close are you intending to come to the boundary line? Is it 4 feet, is it 2 feet, or is it right to the property?
I'd like to go right to it if I could.
Yeah, well,
You probably can't, but.
What about
Well,
the
we'll-
fire department and emergency services? Don't they need a side court?
yeah, to get, it's a single story?
It's a single story.
Story, yeah. You have to be able to get a ladder, but,
Just that 4 feet or.
yeah.
No, it's, you mean a.
Yeah, I mean, just to service your house, you want to have at least 2 to 3 feet to walk around your house, paint your house, stain, wash your windows, so,
That might be determined by where the structure on your neighboring property is
Right,
located.
if I asked the neighbor, would that be any a problem or anything that, that?
We're still, our concern is with the lot line.
In order for us to approve anything, we have to hold a public hearing, announce a public hearing. So your neighbors will have an opportunity to weigh in. So if there's any objection to you building like 2 feet from your neighbor's property line, we need to entertain that objection.
Oh, okay.
So
So, all right, so the next step is the application?
Yeah.
And-
I think the next step is determine what you want to do.
Excuse me?
The next step is determine exactly what you want to do, and then you will have to have that information to fill out the application.
Yeah, that's the marked up plot plan showing the existing house with what you want to add to it.
Right. Okay, yeah, I just want to go out 12 feet. I want to go out 12 feet.
I would also talk to the neighbor,
Yeah.
talk to the neighbor, and see how the neighbor feels about exactly what you want to do. because at a public hearing, they'll be here to voice their objections.
Yeah.
So, or approval.
Well, it's a
Yeah, in
house
other
that's
words-
not livable right now.
Yeah, but it would be a good idea to at least find out exactly what your neighbor thinks about your project before you know,
Spring
go
it on.
through all of,
Right,
the
but-
surveying and the drawings.
Oh, yeah, I would do that. I just wanted to go through the formalities here and just to see what I could do, and if there's any objections. But if I got a hold of him and he says that I don't have a problem at all, you know, because there's plenty of room to his house from where the property line is.
Is his house occupied now?
No, it hasn't been occupied about 12 years.
Okay.
It's just a mess, you know. It's,
Okay.
Yeah,
that stuff
nobody-
all in front of the house. You remember that, the Doolin's house over there?
I know Kyla.
Oh, yeah, Cuckout, she's
Yeah,
right
yeah.
next to you.
So, yeah, as far as I know, no one's been in that house for a while, but it's still their property, so.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah. I think they just come up on 4th of July and camp outside, because it's gutted, the whole inside has been flooded.
I have seen the tents out front over the summer. so,
Yeah, right. It's just that they don't have any more money, they said, because I think the family were left it to 4 kids and they're all fighting. You know, it's one of those things, so I don't think anything's gonna be done with it. But, okay, so, do I
Call
get
me
that
tomorrow.
application for you?
Call me in the morning tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay, I can bring you down the applications, meet you
Well,
at the front door.
wonderful. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I
Have a good
appreciate it,
evening.
have a good night.
Good night.
Take care.
Miss, did you have any business or anything to say?
I just wanted to ask
Would you come forward, please?
you, sure. I know everything here tonight was more about micromanaging, and I'm more about macro-managing.
Oh, great, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I go from town to town really on my own, and just ask boards if they're aware of UN Agenda 21. Have you ever heard of UN Agenda 21?
No, I haven't.
Okay, this is what I do. This is my retirement.
Okay, please be brief.
Yes, you need to research UN Agenda 21.
What is it?
It is an agenda that 179 nations have signed up on, and it is about global governance, and under it is climate change and sustainable development. So you need to know about it, okay? Sustainable development is the blueprint for inventory and control
Hmm?
of all property,
Okay,
all property rights.
okay.
Water, minerals, energy, plants, construction, means of production. This includes food. It includes our property, meaning our bodies as well. Education, religion, law enforcement, and all systems. So before you get sold on sustainable development, you need to do some real deep research. You can go to Rosa Quarry, Koire. She wrote a book, Behind the Green Mask. You can go to Tom DeWeese, Deweese. He has been in court for years over what's happening here. And small towns, big towns, they know nothing about this. So this is how I'm spending my retirement. So God bless us all, because there's going to be major changes. And they are presenting very nice, beautiful packages that sound like we all want to get on board.
Who's
And
they?
We want to protect our environment.
Who is they are presenting?
Okay? There will be special committees presenting to boards.
Okay, we have no special committees scheduled here.
Okay, I heard that Cornell University was here, Extension?
They are all over the place. Cornell University is a very integral part of our community. The cooperative extension, yes.
Okay, all I'm asking is that you check out those 2 places I asked you to, look into UN Agenda 21 and research sustainable development.
So where is UN on Agenda 21 at? Is that it's not a law.
It's a non-binding agreement
Non-binding.
formed by the UN to make recommendations for development of communities and building practices.
Did the United States sign on to it?
I don't believe so. I just-
Yes, President Bush Sr. signed off on it.
Oh, okay.
Senior, so like 18 years
This is how
ago.
long it's been quietly in motion, yes.
Okay,
But it's non-binding. It's a It's not a law anyplace.
Right.
Well, before you determine any of that, just look into it.
But what is, you seem to be coming from an objection to you and Agenda 21, is that correct?
Yes.
What is your actual objection?
Well, like I said, it is very controlling. It takes over all of our local governments.
Wow.
I
didn't know we were being taken over.
It does it very, very discreetly.
Yeah.
It does it very discreetly. So look into Tom DeWeese, he's doing a lot of work, and Rosa Quarry is doing a lot of work on it. And they're the experts, I'm not. I'm just the messenger,
Oh,
okay?
okay, well, thank you for your message.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Any further business? May I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move that we adjourn.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We stand adjourned.
I think that was a pretty good meeting.
I would say.
Okay, I had no idea. Good to know.
Yeah, sorry about the last gentleman coming in. He just stopped by 2 days ago, and I said, oh, you gotta wait a whole month. I said, why don't you just come in and explain?
Yeah, well, I don't mind people coming in to, get more information about,
Yeah.
We can't really give determinations unless we have the
Yeah,
application.
yeah.
Okay, so our secretary Carrie is in hospital now, her daughter's having a blast.
Well, that's very exciting.
She was excited.
Yeah, I would imagine. Give Gary, I actually am familiar with that 21, because I did happen to read it. I was stuff we knew about it.